Reloaded Scion has said the following. If you watch this video, make sure there are tissues nearby, because there is a very big chance of tears. Now, these are all words from Reloaded Scion himself, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this emotional video on racism and more.
People that cannot get the concept through their mind that they're being made fun of. They have this misconception of thinking that we are using these statues, these figures of national history, to embarrass and to make fun of African Americans. Well, that is not the truth. We are using these symbolic figures, monuments, and statues. We're trying to remember what this country was many years ago, to not be like the country, to not be like that nation that was split between Confederate and Union. We need to preserve the Union, and that is what we have. These symbolic figures are to tell us what not to be. Yes, okay, they may have some backlash, and they may remind you of what your parents were, but that's history. You cannot rewrite history. You cannot change what has already happened. No matter how many times you try, you cannot change history. It is a fact. We are trying to remove this from history books and statues. We're trying to make our kids forget what has happened. Your kids, my kids, we must show our kids so that when they grow up, they do not want to act like this. They will not be the future generation. To bring us back to that low point in the Union's history, we are fighting a civil war against each other. Why? To end slavery. We do not want to go back to that point where hundreds of thousands of men are bleeding and dying. Why? Over a civil war, because there is still slavery in the South, and that has become a main goal of issue in this country. Slavery is not an important thing anymore, okay? Slavery does not happen anymore. There are no slaves. Yes, presidents were slaves, but they had slaves. But if we remove these statues, then we must remove them. If you are trying to get rid of Confederate soldiers who owned slaves, then does that mean we must get rid of president statues too, because they own slaves too? Is that what you're saying? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we are trying to brainwash our kids into showing them what, not to make fun of people. We are not supposed to do that. We're supposed to look at them and tell them, son, daughter, whatever you may have, if you have children, to look at them and that those symbolic figures, that was a low point in this country we do not want to go back to. We must teach them and use those as helpful, logical, and teach-worthy examples to explain what we must do as citizens of the United States, how we must act every single day to not be racist, to not be sexist, to not, demote people because of religion or creed or race or skin or, orientation. Wherever you come from, it does not matter, okay? It may matter to some people, but that's because they are racist. They're something they cannot change, okay? There's in them, and you cannot stop them from making fun of you. But if you can put that beside you and look and remember those statues and other monuments and other symbolic figures of life that show us what we are not supposed to act like, we can truly make this country great again. When you go to church, if you're Catholic, you see the cross and you remember, He died for us to save us from sin. We are trying to not sin. Yes, we may do. Yes, you may get bullied, but it's okay. You must forgive them. You must not let that offend you, okay? That is past history, and we can remove them, and we can debate, and we can talk about this all we want, but in the long run, what are we doing? We're just hiding, okay? We're just trying to get under a blindfold and try to hide our imagination of what happened. We don't want to face the facts. We are too scared to look back into our country's history and to admit that this has happened, okay? We can't.
And that was Reloaded Scion's very extremely emotional performance / conversation about racism and more of the United States of America.
She shaking that thing like boom. I'm on it, Patron. We need to get back to ooh. She sexy, she know it. She shaking that thing like boom. I'm on it, Patron. We need to get back to the room. She sexy.